Before we get to our back to school month, let's get into COVID. We haven't done COVID in a while. In the past 18 hours, over 10,000 new cases with 27 new deaths. In Oasis County, 219 new cases. That makes it over 100,000 tests. 13.8%, over 69,000. Tests have been taken. Over 500,000 tests have been taken. Hospitalizations. Over 36,000 people hospitalized with 4,100 people in ICU. One dose, 75.6% have had at least one dose. That's a total of 21.6 million. Fully vaccinated, 18.1 million. That's 63.2% of the population who has been fully vaxxed. Now, there is a new variant in COVID. It's been announced since BA.5. It's going to dodge an immune systems. From Vox.com, BA.5 doesn't care that you just had COVID-19. It turned into to evade immunity even from precious common infections. It's a subvariant. It's on the Omicron wave. Then in April, BA.2 formed majority cases. By May, BA.2.12.1.1 took over. Now BA.5 is in the lead, triggering a rise in hospitalization rates across the country. Maybe the most contagious version of the virus to date. It's because the only reason why this happens is because nobody gets vaccinated. And for years, I've been telling you guys, this is what you need to do. You need to make sure that you're always vaccinated. You need to stay socially distant. Again, let me tell you something. From here to this, we're not 6 feet. But from here to here, that's possible for the 6 feet to happen. That's possible. Also, hand washing. This is the biggest one ever. Hand washing is very, very important. If you do not wash your hands, you're spreading germs. And the more germs that you spread, you'll get more people sick. And if you get more people sick, you're spreading germs. Viruses are like germs. Think about this. Viruses are like germs. We all have to do our part, which I'm doing right now. Let me tell you something. You think this is going to help you wash your hands? It's not. Read the label. What does it say? Very good. Hand sanitizer. What does it do? It sanitizes your hands and kills 99.9% of germs. Which I'm demonstrating to you right now. It's just as simple. Sink, water, soap, 20 seconds, not over 110 degrees. Because your hands can really hurt. If you're working in a restaurant or a fast food restaurant like I am, it has to be within an hour. Every hour. Now, this is one of the biggest ones ever. If you're in a, like I said this season, if you're in the mandatory zone, you're required to wear your mask. If you're not vaccinated, then you cannot attend. You cannot be doing the things you want to do. You cannot attend parties. If you're going to attend a party, you need to take extra precautions. But the good news is the COVID-19 vaccines or still provide good protection against severe illnesses caused by BA.5. The thing you really have to understand here is that we have to make sure we're still safe. and wearing the mask. Some people just put it on their nose because they can't breathe or can't understand. Kids are not immune to this. Well, at least that's what other people say, and of course, in my opinion. But hey, whose opinion do you? But this is what the Georgia mom said. Last year. But I understand if your child's not afraid of the mask, then okay. Also, if you're riding the bus, take extra precautions. They have masks on the bus. They can provide you one. If you don't have a mask, they can provide you one. If you're at work, you don't have a mask, then they can provide you one. Also, if your child's under 2, no masks. If you have a medical condition, let them know beforehand. You are exempt. But sometimes your doctor probably has to sign off on it. Also, if you're quarantined, don't leave the house except to take out the trash or check the mail. Stay in quarantine for 5 days. After the 5th day, get tested. If you're negative, you're good to go. If you're positive, that's another 5 days for you. Just let your boss know. Let's be safe. Get vaccinated so we can go back to normal. If it's against your religion, go against it. Doesn't matter. Alright. Later on, the Uvalde School Board met and parents are angry. We'll tell you. We'll give you the very latest. But when we return, on Monday, I told you about students who got suspended from school. Now I'm going to introduce you to three cases in which kids were suspended. One was for taking a picture in the hallway. Actually, this one's for 2 students who were expelled for not wearing masks. It's one. The other is for a student who took a picture in the hallway, and the other students who got suspended but sued the school over First Amendment rights. We'll have that for you when we return. Up front this afternoon, more students getting suspended from school on Monday. We showed you some articles, especially 2020 back from 2 years ago, about students who were suspended, about students who were suspended because it was extreme discipline. But there are new ones to be taken into account for. So to continue on, let's start off with here. Imagine you report a sexual assault case to your school. Then you get suspended for it. Is it harsh? You be the judge.
46 has live team coverage tonight of these ongoing issues at CMS schools, and if enough is being done to keep your child safe. We begin with Fox 46's Lindsay Klein at Hawthorne Academy, where students there protested after a student says she was suspended for reporting a sexual assault.
Yeah, Brian, and students were out here for about an hour this morning outside the school protesting the incident, and we actually spoke to the victim and her mother about how unfair they say this all has been and how upset they are with all the process that they say CMS has taken on this. Do you feel unsafe at school?
Yes.
Unsafe and on guard.
What's your biggest concern right now? You're having to see this person every day.
That he will do it again.
This 15-year-old Hawthorne Academy student wants to remain anonymous, but says she was sexually assaulted in the bathroom of one of the places she's supposed to feel the most safe.
It's been stressful.
Her school.
He did catch me coming out the bathroom, and he pushed me back into the bathroom, and he pushed me into the stall, and he put his hands in my pants, and then on my breast.
She said after a second time, she reported the incident to school staff.
The school said that they didn't have enough evidence of me being sexually assaulted, but he admitted it to the police.
But she says she's now the one being punished and that the school accused her of lying and suspended her.
I have to say that right now I'm more hurt and angry than anything.
Her mother, who also wanted to remain unidentifiable, is fed up.
Their lack of communication has been very frustrating.
The incident occurred at the beginning of the school year in August, and the victim and her mother tell us the boy in question of committing the sexual assault even admitted it to police.
I don't think anybody with CMS is taking it seriously at all.
Today,
I am a victim of sexual assault.
students gathered outside the school in protest.
There were some girls and they were telling like their stories.
We just want, like, for it to come to light.
They say
We're speaking about this.
they also don't feel safe.
Our parents send us to school, but it's not a safe place anymore.
Do you feel safe coming to school?
No.
The victim and her mother say it's comforting
But I'm not scared anymore, and I'm telling my story.
to know that protesters at the school have their back, even when they feel like the school system doesn't.
It's heartwarming to know that if nobody in the actual staff or CMS cares, that the students actually are trying to support her and anybody else that this may have happened to at the school.
And we are told the school has reopened the investigation, so of course that is continuing right now. I did reach out to the school for comment. They said they were not making any comments right now or doing any interviews at this time. I also reached out to several board members who did not get back with me also, but we will of course stay on top of the story and let you know what happens. Live in Charlotte, Lindsay Klein, Fox 46.
Wow. That's very harsh. That's like this. If you're sexually assaulted, you need to report this to your school immediately, but you don't get suspended. You can't get suspended for reporting a sexual assault case. That's just harsh. That's just harsh indeed. If you report a sexual assault case, you get suspended, you're at the door, the school doesn't care. When your child goes to school, you expect for your child to be safe. Right? Exactly. That's the whole purpose of your child going to school, to feel safe and to have privacy in the bathroom. But I'm glad the boy admitted to it, the people admitted, the security guard admitted to it, and the school did the wrong thing. Alright. Imagine this. You don't want to wear your mask, but then you get expelled from school. There's a difference between being suspended and expelled. Suspended from school means you cannot allowed to become in school during your suspension. Expelled means you're expelled for the rest of the school year. Watch.
The students refusing to wear masks at Riverside County High School, and the whole campus goes on lockdown. Jessica O joining us live with that story and reaction. Jessica?
Christine, this shocked a lot of people. What started out as two students refusing to wear a mask escalated into a very tense situation on the first day of school last Thursday. Tonight we spoke to the students involved.
Why aren't you in class?
It was a tense first day of class at Springs Charter School in Temecula. Police were called on campus. The entire school went into lockdown, and all because two students refused to wear a mask.
It hurts. I mean, we love the school that we go to.
Victoria Nelson's a junior at the school. Her brother Drew is a senior. The siblings say they chose not to wear a mask for religious reasons, believing it would be enough to exempt them from the state mandate, even though no one filed any requests with the district or the school.
We thought that the school would care about what we believe in, but they just didn't even care enough to listen.
But administrators say Victoria refused to wear a mask or leave class, and that's when we're told the situation escalated. Listen to what the principal tells her.
I need you to stand up, or we will have to physically remove you from this classroom. You cannot touch me.
And she was within a foot of me, and when I would go left, she would follow me, and then I was trying to go around her and she would block me, and so eventually I just kind of gave up.
Eventually deputies showed up. The entire school was placed on lockdown, and both students were banned from going to that charter school ever again.
I said, what's the education code? And you said, I'll call you back.
Springs Charter School responded by saying there are no religious exemptions in the state mask order, nor has the right to an exemption ever been recognized by the Supreme Court because it's a neutral law of general application to protect public health.
regardless of whether or not you're deeply religious or an atheist, or you're Muslim or Christian. It applies to you.
Legal expert Jessica Levinson understands why there's so much confusion surrounding this, but says in the state of California, religious exemptions do not apply to the mask mandate in school settings.
People tend to hear over and over, oh, there's two reasons you can be exempt from mandates, medical reasons and religious reasons. And there's just so much complexity and nuance, it makes sense that there would be confusion.
Right, but don't call the sheriff until you call me back. We're working this out amongst ourselves.
Nelson still doesn't agree with how the school handled the situation.
This is just getting beyond and beyond uncalled for.
Still in shock after being kicked out of school on the first day of class, when students say they just thought they were doing what was right.
The whole situation, it's very sad to have something that we both believe in so strongly, and it's not an excuse, it's truly what we believe.
And the school and that family, they do eventually want to find some kind of solution to all this. We know the parents will be meeting with the district soon. For now, those students will remain home on independent study. But again, this really does highlight some of the growing tension and confusion over mask mandates, especially in a setting like a school. Reporting live tonight, Jessica O, Fox 11 News.
And again, that was still during the pandemic.
Atrévete.
When there were still laws. The bottom line is, I care about your religion, but if the school has its own mask mandate rule, then you gotta follow it. Or just talk to the school and say you're exempt. If you can be exempt, just talk to the school and they'll work out something. Coming up next, a student who was suspended for taking a picture in the hallway. And the latest on Uvalde. All that's coming up next. Alright, I want to bring you up to date on Uvalde. Yesterday, the school board held a meeting, and CNN was the first CNN was the first one to be there. Uvalde parents call for school board to fire district's police chief. Why the hell does he still have a job, y'all? With y'all. Angry residents of the emotionally shattered Texas town Uvalde confronted the school board Monday night. That was 2 days ago. With speakers calling for District Police Chief Bernardo P. Arredondo to be fired, asking why safety measures will be put in place when school reopens. The grief from the shooting in which 21 people were killed at Robb Elementary was clearly weighing in heavily on attendees, and some parents said their children weren't ready to return to class. In June, Harrell announced that no students ever returned to the site of the massacre. Our kids or staff were not going back. And next school year, it could be delayed. The school board also has recommended delay to start the school year to address security issues such as door locks. The other victim said there was nothing they could have done to bring the daughter back. I mean, the reason they delay school is because of security reason. That's the reason. So that's the bottom line. Also, I'm still looking into the case of Oxford, Michigan. Just 4 hours ago, the judge grants attorneys representing Oxford school shooting victims' families motion to depose the defendants. A judge granted their attorneys representing families in a civil suit of the Oxford school shooting their request to dispose defendants in the case, following a hearing today. The judge granted a motion to compel the depositions requested by the plaintiffs in the case after hearing the motion. It's unclear who the plaintiff's attorneys plan to oppose, but several defendants were listed in the lawsuits. And another Joe ruling, the judge overseeing the criminal trial, tossed details relating to the criminal's home, Ethan Clemens' internet search history, and some pieces of evidence found in the shooter's room. So again, Ethan's in jail, his parents are in jail. If Ethan's convicted, he could face life in prison. I don't know about and his parents are charged with involuntary manslaughter, James and Jennifer Crumbly. We'll bring more up to date as this goes along. When we come back, a student who was suspended in the hallway for just taking a picture, and students who were suspended but now suing the school district. Don't go away. Okay, imagine you see a crowded hallway because you see no one wearing a mask, so you take a picture of it. Click. And all of a sudden you call in the principal's office. Johnny Knoxville, report to the office, please. Johnny Knoxville, report to the office, please. And you get called in the office and you say, I'm sorry to take a picture, blah, blah, blah. It's inappropriate use of electronic devices. You're suspended. That's what happened last year when a student was suspended for posting a photo of a crowded hallway because people were not wearing masks, social distance. That was last year, so let's take a look at this.
New.
It's 9 minutes. I'm not going to play in 9 minutes. I'm going to keep it short. Because if it's in a code of conduct, then they violate the code of conduct. Anyway.
Debate over reopening schools and with the coronavirus is now in full swing. And some that have already reopened are really a preview of the challenges ahead. A 15-year-old student in Georgia says that she has been suspended from her school. Why? After posting a photo of a crowded hallway between classes. Hannah Waters put up the image you're seeing right now on Twitter. It shows kids who are jam-packed in the halls of North Paulding High School, and she says many were not wearing any masks. The Paulding County Superintendent sent a letter to the community saying the photo is really out of context, writing this: class changes at the high school level are a challenge when maintaining a specific schedule. It is an area we are continuing to work on in this new environment to find practicable ways to further limit students from congregating. Students are in this hallway environment for just a brief period as they move to their next class. He went on to say, there is no question that the photo does not look good, and that wearing a mask is a personal choice, and there is no practical way to enforce a mandate to wear them.
Well, this is a
Student that took that picture, Hannah Waters, joins me now. Hannah, thank you for being here. And thank you for taking that photograph that we're able to see, because people don't have a real clear image of what's really happening in these schools right now. And so, Hannah, you went to school. Of course, you saw the crowds in the halls. You saw there were a lot of masks. You took the picture. Hannah, why did you choose, or why did you want to post this image?
I took the photo initially after seeing the first day of school photo taken by someone else go online as well, and got picked up by some media coverage, and I took it out of mostly concern and nervousness after seeing the first days of school.
Yeah, if you look at that photo right here, no mask, no mask, no mask, and the superintendent saying it's out of context, well, they should have reported to the school. So the bottom line here is this: it doesn't matter. You have the option of wearing a mask, and you have the option of wearing a mask. But this was during last year. But all right. Now, last year, a student was suspended from school for explicit Snapchat comment. Now, during that year, the Supreme Court rules that that school violated her constitutional right to post. If I had time, I'd play it for you, but I'm not going to play it for you. I reported on this last year, and it does not look good. Okay. Imagine being disciplined, your daughter's being disciplined over a Trump flag. This was years ago, courtesy of Jennifer Ferris. This was 2019, after Make America Great Year. This was the full length, but I'm going to play a portion of this to where the only portion The only portion I'm going to play for you is when she confronts the principal and she gets trespassed. Take a look.
Why?
Because they have this fight. Look at, man, I'm not gonna put up with this.
I'm not gonna put up with it either. You're not allowed to tell my daughter to leave the school because no,
School
you're
is
not.
over. It's a principal. He can't cover his, he can't have this.
So you're gonna tell me that you're gonna ask my daughter to leave school because she was wearing a Make America Great Again sweatshirt?
Nope, that's not what happened.
That is what happened.
Then
Then why is she being asked to leave? She's not the one that had the Trump flag, and even if she did, why can't she have a flag on America Day for school that says Make America Great Again?
Because to carry a flag around is not reduce the flag. It's disrespectful.
To carry a flag around?
Go read that. And I have a kid in the army.
I have a kid in the military, thank you.
So, you can leave.
I'm not leaving without figuring out why she's in.
So yeah, she got just disciplined for that flag. During the video, she carried the flag, and the mom was now trespassed, now suing the school. The attorney released the video back in 2019, and I don't know what else happened. All right. I wanna quickly tell you, look into more school threats. Then we'll get to our final. Suspension video, and then we'll be done. Just 19 hours ago, there have been no threats in the University of Arizona nursing school. The Billings University campus was evacuated Tuesday over a bomb threat. The Arizona Police Department confirmed there was a college of nursing located, and it was evacuated. So far, no new updates has been. Authorities said around 4:30 the nursing building had been cleared and no threats were found. Look again, I hate school threats. I think we have time for two more. Our second threat. A 14-year-old was detained charged with pending for online threat mentioning Greenfield School. A 14-year-old. That's juvenile. That's a minor. A minor is arrested. Police are renewing calls to parents to keep an eye on what their kids are doing online after two 14-year-old boys are calling for questioning over a social media threat that referenced a Greenfield elementary school. The agents tipped off Greenfield officials about a threat being posted on social media early Monday morning. The police said it was a threat that was very specific in nature and referenced elementary school within the Greenfield school district. And they said anyone, and this is what they said, anyone who's suspecting the post is urged to contact the local law enforcement agency as soon as possible and call 911. These are real people. And in 2 days, just 6 hours ago, Palmer City Schools received 2 threats in 2 days. 2 days. In Ohio, after various profile shooting incidents, including Uvalde, Texas elementary school last couple months, Palmer City Schools and the Palmer Police Department weren't taking any chances late last week when the district received 2 threats in many days. This happened last week, the 13th, followed by a threat on Thursday directed towards the school. So yeah, you make a threat towards the school, not only are you going to be kicked out of school, but you're going to be arrested. Look, I get it. Nobody wants to go to school. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do that. You hate school. You hate this. You hate that. I get it. I didn't like going to school, but it was the choice I had. It was either go to school or go to jail. That's what it was. It was either, if you don't go to school, you go to jail. Your parents go to jail. That's how it was. That's how it was. All right. Finally, this afternoon, parents and students filed a First Amendment lawsuit against the school after students were suspended for a Facebook post. Take a look.
Covering Colorado First at 5, and students and parents at a Commerce City charter school believe the school violated their First Amendment rights. And now they're banding together. They're actually filing a lawsuit against the school.
Yeah, that lawsuit also targets the principal. Investigator Brian Moss breaking the story for us all tonight. And Brian joins us to explain what's going on.
Well, in this lawsuit that was just filed in the last couple of hours, the students say they were disciplined for even making comments about the principal on Facebook.
Police were called to Victory Prep Charter School 14 months ago.
If you don't leave, he's going to press charges.
After a student protest against school administrators snowballed, and all 120 students were suspended for the rest of the day. They refused to repeat the school's daily pledge that morning and submitted a list of grievances. So the school sent everyone home.
Well, at that time, we started recording verbally and started recording video.
But Joel and Mary Flores, who have a student at the school, say it got even worse when they came to pick up their son. They owned this Spanish language newspaper, so documented what happened. 2 days after the protest, they published this front page article.
They didn't like the reporting.
No, they didn't, because it brought bad press to them.
Days after that newspaper's story, the school dropped this letter on the Flores family, saying they had detained students without permission for interviews and created a, quote, false narrative, broken school rules through their reporting efforts. They were, and still are, banned from campus.
We missed all the parent-teacher conferences. We missed all of the soccer games that are home field.
In this new federal lawsuit against the school, parents and students contend other students were suspended for going on Facebook and making derogatory comments about the principal. The lawsuit maintains other students who simply liked those comments were then suspended.
This school has trampled on the constitutional rights of not only the students at the school, but their parents, frankly, the entire community.
Nat Crone represents the Flores family and filed the First Amendment lawsuit.
Kids have constitutional rights in our school system. They don't abandon those rights when they walk through the school doors.
Agreed.
Joel Flores spent 5 years in the military and says he defended the Constitution and First Amendment freedoms.
As a veteran, that's what I served for. We repeatedly called Victory Prep CEO and principal, and he did not return any of our calls. We will keep trying.
All right, thank you, Brian.
You bet.
Coming up on Friday, are you a kid at school and wondering what about my rights? Hip Hughes is going to tell you about your rights as he examines some Supreme Court cases for you and the parents, and you might not be too thrilled. So, get up in the morning on Friday. I'm going to poke holes in the brain as we start to look at schools' rights. No, that's not important. Okay, as we look at Supreme Court cases that involve the student. That's on Friday. That's all Business Edition and Give Me a Break Wednesday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Friday. All of us here at YouTube and Give Me a Break. Good night, everyone.